He was diagnosed with a congenital airway defect called laryngomalacia when he was 5 weeks old. Originally discharged and ended up back in PICU a week later. And he was seen by an army of doctors, specialists, and everybody just kept saying he would grow out of it. But he was miserable, screaming 24/7 in pain because he had reflux as well. Not able to sleep or tolerate feeds. He had been sounding congested for a few days. We just thought it was a cold. But then he started to have some cyanosis in his legs. His arms and legs were turning blue. And so when we got to the hospital and got to triage, he actually stopped breathing in triage. I lost it. They had to call the chaplain because I was by myself, and I was a disaster. Try not to freak out on camera. We just kind of decided that the army of doctors wasn't really helping anything. They were kind of throwing band-aids on every little thing, and nothing was helping. Nothing was improving his quality of life. And someone recommended this practice to us because their little boy, who has pandas, I believe, had been seeing them for a long time, and it was very helpful. After the first visit, I felt like we had come to the right place. None of the specialists he was seeing could explain why he was doing so poorly. That nobody could put a finger on what exactly was going on. But we started coming here, and after his first 6 weeks, he was a completely different baby. And his very first adjustment, you could see the tension drain out of him. You could just tell that he felt better from day one. And after 2 weeks, he came off the reflux meds and continued to improve in leaps and bounds. After 6 or 8 weeks, he came off the tube and was able to tolerate feeding. They treat you like family from the get-go. You come in here and you feel like you're not judged. You're not thrown under a microscope for every little choice you make. And you can bring anything to them. He had a lot of torticollis-like symptoms in the beginning, and I mentioned it to Erica, and it just took one little tweak. And he was holding his head in midline, and he didn't hold his head in midline until that adjustment. He was always pulling. Most of the babies with this condition don't start to show improvements like he has until 18 months is usually the timeline that they give you, and he was maybe 6 months old, not even, when he was finally able to breathe freely, and that's just a gift that no one else could have given him. How do we feel now? Eternally grateful that they were there when he was so tiny and weak and struggling. These two women, they have the touch. They know how to help. They just do. I hope Mr. Finney's story does help somebody, because going through this without them would have been a whole different thing.